When the video of my best friends getting publicly humbled hit 3 million views on TikTok, I honestly didn't feel the vindication I thought I would. I just felt exhausted. Standing there on the track of the varsity playoff game, watching Josh, Trent, and Brad, the self-proclaimed kings of our high school, stuttering and turning tomato red while the entire student section went dead silent, wasn't a triumph. It was a confirmation. It confirmed that for the last 4 years, I hadn't actually been part of a friend group, I had been a prop. A mascot they kept around to make themselves look taller, stronger, and better looking. But in that moment, as the imaginary girlfriend they had mocked for months walked right past their outstretched hands and wrapped her arms around my neck, the hierarchy didn't just crack. It shattered. To understand why 3 varsity athletes were left standing in the dust by the ugly friend, we need to go back to the beginning of senior year. The dynamic of our group was simple, unspoken, and brutal. Josh was the quarterback, Trent was the rich kid with the BMW, and Brad was the party animal. And then there was me, Sam. I was the designated safe friend. The one who held the backpacks while they talked to girls. The one they sat next to in class to copy homework from, but never invited to the after parties unless they needed a designated driver. They had all hit their growth spurts and glow ups sophomore year. I, on the other hand, was a late bloomer. I had braces until junior year, bad skin, and a lanky frame that refused to put on muscle no matter how much I ate. To them, I wasn't just a friend, I was a charity case. A mirror they used to reflect their own greatness. "You're like the funny, ugly sidekick in a movie," Josh told me once during lunch, clapping a hand on my shoulder like he was paying me a compliment. "Every hero needs one. It makes us look more approachable." I laughed it off. That's what I always did. I laughed when they set me up with their cousins who have a great personality. I laughed when Brad's girlfriend tried to give me a makeover in the cafeteria like I was a lost puppy. I laughed when they joked that I was secretly gay because I never chased after the girls they were obsessed with. But around October of senior year, things changed. I started disappearing on weekends. I stopped answering their texts immediately. I started smiling at my phone during study hall. Naturally, they noticed. "Who are you texting?" Trent asked one afternoon, snatching my phone out of my hand. I snatched it back before he could see the screen. "Just a friend," I said. "A girl?" Brad sneered, leaning back in his chair. "Yeah, right. Is she from Canada, or maybe she goes to another school we've never heard of?" "She goes to Northwood," I said quietly. The table exploded with laughter. Northwood was the private school 2 towns over. It was where the rich, elite, and untouchable kids went. The idea that I, Sam the sidekick, was seeing someone from Northwood was objectively hilarious to them. "Does she know what you look like?" Josh asked, wiping tears from his eyes. "Or are you catfishing her?" "We've been hanging out for a few months," I said, keeping my voice steady. "It's serious." That became the running gag for the next 3 months. Sam's imaginary girlfriend. If I couldn't hang out on Friday, it was, "Oh, does the invisible woman need you tonight?" If I bought a new shirt, it was, trying to impress the ghost. They didn't just doubt me, they were offended by the very idea that I could have something they didn't. They needed me to be beneath them. If I wasn't the loser, then who were they? I never showed them a picture. I never told them her name. I knew exactly what they would do. They would find her Instagram, DM her, try to save her from me, or just mock her if she wasn't up to their impossible standards. I kept Maya completely separate from my life at school. She was the one good thing that was purely mine. Maya wasn't just a girl. She was incredible. We met at a debate tournament over the summer, something my friends didn't even know I participated in. She was smart, funny, and yes, objectively stunning. The kind of stunning that makes people stop talking when she walks into a room. Blonde, tall, athletic, with a smile that could disarm a bomb squad. She knew about my friends. She knew how they treated me. "Why do you stay friends with them?" she asked me one night while we were studying at a coffee shop in her town. "History, I guess," I mumbled. "We've known each other since kindergarten." "And?" "I don't know. It's easier to just ride it out until graduation than to blow it all up." "They don't respect you, Sam," she said, her eyes fierce. "You're smarter than them. You're kinder than them. You don't need their permission to be happy." "I know," I said. I don't want the drama." "Well," she smiled, a mischievous glint in her eye. "Maybe a little drama is exactly what they need." I didn't know what she meant by that until the night of the district playoffs. It was the biggest game of the year. Our school versus our rivals. The stands were packed. The atmosphere was electric. My friends were in high spirits because they were the center of attention. They were in their varsity jackets, leaning against the railing of the bleachers, scanning the crowd for girls to grace with their presence. I was sitting a few feet away, scrolling on my phone, waiting for the game to start so I could just watch and go home. "Yo, eyes up, boys," Josh suddenly hissed, nudging Trent. "Target acquired. 3 o'clock. Visitor side." "Whoa," Trent breathed. "Is that a model? Who is that?" I didn't look up immediately. I was used to this. They spotted a pretty girl, objectified her for 10 minutes, debated who had the best shot, and then usually chickened out. "She is staring right at us," Brad said, fixing his hair in his phone reflection. "Dude, she is locked in. Look at her. She's wearing red," Josh noted. "That's Northwood colors. She must be scouting or something." I froze. I slowly looked up. Standing near the concession stand on the visitor's side, radiating an aura of effortless perfection, was Maya. She was wearing a red Northwood hoodie and jeans that fit perfectly. She looked like she had walked out of a magazine editorial about cool girls at football games. And Brad was right. She was staring directly at our section. She lifted her hand and gave a small, dazzling wave. A smile lit up her face. She waved. Josh practically shrieked, jumping up. "She waved at me. Did you see that?" "She was waving at me, you idiot," Trent argued, puffing out his chest. I made eye contact. "She's definitely feeling one of us," Brad said, a predatory grin spreading across his face. "This is it. This is the upgrade I've been waiting for." My heart started hammering in my chest. I hadn't told Maya to come. I hadn't even told her about the game. "I'm going in," Josh announced, unbuttoning his varsity jacket to show off the t-shirt underneath. "Watch and learn, boys." "I'm coming with you," Trent said. "You need a wingman." "I'm coming too," Brad added. They all stood up, a wall of cologne and unearned confidence. Then, Brad turned to look at me. "Sam, stay here," he commanded, pointing a finger at me. "What?" I asked, though I knew what was coming. "Seriously, stay here," Trent said, not even trying to be joking. "We don't want to scare her off. You know how you get, awkward. Just watch our stuff." "Actually," Josh laughed, digging into his pocket. He pulled out a crumpled $20 bill and tossed it into my lap. Here. Go buy yourself some popcorn. Make yourself scarce for like 20 minutes. If she has a friend, we'll text you. But she definitely doesn't have a friend. They laughed. That dismissal was the final straw. It wasn't the insults about my looks. It wasn't the exclusion. It was the absolute certainty that I was an obstacle to their success. I looked at the $20 in my lap. Then I looked at them. You guys are making a mistake, I said calmly. The only mistake would be letting you ruin this, Brad said. Sit down, Sam. Enjoy the show. They turned around and started strutting down the bleacher stairs, heading toward the track where spectators were allowed to mingle before kickoff. They walked with that swagger that implies they own the place. Shoulders back, chins up, scanning the crowd to make sure everyone was watching them approach the prize. I stood up. I didn't rush. I just followed them, about 10 paces back. They reached the bottom of the bleachers and stepped onto the track. Maya was walking toward them now, crossing the field. The stadium lights caught her hair. She looked ethereal. Josh, Trent, and Brad formed a line, like a boy band about to drop a terrible single. They put on their best cool guy faces. As Maya got closer, I saw Josh step forward, running a hand through his hair. He opened his mouth, probably to say something incredibly cheesy like, "Did you get lost coming from heaven?" "Hey there," Josh said, his voice dropping an octave. "We saw you from the stands and..." Maya didn't even slow down. She didn't blink. She didn't look at his eyes. She didn't look at Trent's flexed biceps or Brad's smile. She looked through them. Like they were glass. Like they were air. She walked right through the gap between Josh and Trent, her shoulder brushing Josh's arm with the indifference of someone walking past a mannequin in a store. Josh spun around, confused. Miss." Maya kept walking. Her eyes were locked on something behind them. Me. I stopped walking. I stood there, hands in my pockets, wearing my faded hoodie and jeans, looking nothing like a varsity athlete. Maya picked up the pace. She broke into a little jog, that brilliant smile returning to her face, the smile they thought was for them. "Sam," she called out. The sound of my name hit my friends like a physical blow. Josh whipped his head around. Trent's jaw dropped. Brad looked like he was trying to solve a calculus problem in his head. Maya collided with me, wrapping her arms around my neck and burying her face in my shoulder. I caught her, spinning her around slightly to absorb the impact. "Hi," I said, hugging her back. "What are you doing here?" "I wanted to see you," she said, pulling back but keeping her arms around me. She looked up at me with genuine affection. "You said you'd be stuck here all night, so I thought I'd come rescue you." "You're real," I heard a voice croak. We both turned. Josh, Trent, and Brad were standing 10 feet away. They looked like they had just watched a dog solve a Rubik's Cube. Their brains simply could not process the visual information in front of them. The ugly friend. The charity case. The imaginary girlfriend. "Wait," Trent stammered. You know Sam." Maya looked at them. Her expression shifted instantly. The warmth vanished. She looked at them with a cold, sharp intelligence. "Oh," she said, her voice flat. "You must be the friends." She said the word friends the way one might say parasites. Yeah, we're his boys," Josh said, trying to recover his charm, but he was flailing. He stepped closer, invading her space. I'm Josh. Quarterback. This is. I know who you are, Maya cut him off. She didn't extend her hand. Sam has told me all about you. All good things, right? Brad laughed nervously. We like to joke around, you know how it is. Actually, Maya said, taking a step closer to them, her hand slipping into mine and interlacing our fingers. He told me that you refer to him as the ugly friend. He told me you tried to pay him to go away so you could hit on me. He told me that you think you're the kings of this school. The color drained from Josh's face. He looked at me, betrayal in his eyes. You told her that? I didn't have to tell her much, I said, speaking for the first time. You guys are pretty loud. We were just messing around, Trent said, his voice pitching higher. It's just banter. Sam knows that. Banter is when everyone is laughing, Maya said coldly. Bullying is when only you are laughing. She looked them up and down, her gaze dissecting their varsity jackets, their expensive haircuts, their fragile egos. For the record, she said, her voice carrying clearly over the murmuring crowd nearby. Sam is the only reason any of us at Northwood even know your school exists. He's funny, he's brilliant, and he's incredibly hot. The fact that you can't see that says a lot more about your insecurities than it does about him. She turned back to me, her face softening instantly. Ready to go? I found a place that has those curly fries you like. Yeah, I said. I'm ready. I looked at my friends one last time. I didn't feel angry anymore. I just felt done. Keep the $20, Josh, I said, gesturing to the bill I had dropped on the ground. You're gonna need it for gas. We turned and walked away. But the story doesn't end there. Because high school is a small ecosystem, and nothing stays private. As we walked toward the parking lot, I noticed a group of sophomores near the fence. They were holding their phones up. They had been recording the cheerleaders, but they had swung their cameras around when the commotion started. They had caught the whole thing. The rejection. The speech. The look on Josh's face when he realized he was irrelevant. By the time I got home that night, the video was everywhere. The caption read, "Varsity boys get cooked by Sam's imaginary GF skull. The comments were brutal. Imagine thinking you have a shot and she walks past you to Sam. Legendary. The way she looked at Josh. I would transfer schools. Wait, Sam is actually kinda cute. Why did they call him ugly? Girlfriend. We love a queen who defends her man. Monday morning was a different world. Usually, when I walked into school, I was invisible. I would head to my locker, keep my head down, and wait for the guys to show up and start their roast session. This time, when I walked through the double doors, heads turned. People whispered. A few guys I barely knew nodded at me. A girl from my English class waved. I walked to my locker. Josh and Trent were already there. Usually, they would be loud, taking up the whole hallway. Today, they were leaning against the lockers, looking at their phones, miserable. When they saw me, they straightened up. Sam, Josh said. He sounded tired. Look, about Friday. Save it, I said, opening my locker. No, seriously, Trent said. The video, it's bad, man. Everyone is roasting us. You gotta tell them to chill. Tell them we were just joking. I stopped, I looked at them. For the first time, I saw them clearly. They weren't powerful. They were just terrified of being ordinary. They needed me to be the ugly one because without that contrast, they were just average guys with peaked in high school energy. I can't tell them anything, I said, closing my locker. I'm not responsible for how you look. You did that to yourselves. We're boys, Brad pleaded, walking up. We've been friends for 12 years. No, I corrected him. We've been neighbors for 12 years. We haven't been friends for a long time. I adjusted my backpack. I'm going to sit with Maya's friends at lunch today. Don't wait up. I walked away. The rest of the year was a slow, satisfying burn. The friend group fell apart pretty quickly. Without a punching bag to unite them, they started turning on each other. Josh got benched for bad grades. Trent's girlfriend dumped him for a college guy. Brad just kind of faded into the background. I finished senior year with a 4.0 GPA, a girlfriend who actually respected me, and a newfound realization that my value wasn't determined by 3 guys who peaked at 17. On graduation day, I ran into Josh one last time in the parking lot. He was standing by his car, holding his diploma, looking lost. "Hey," he said, awkwardly. "Hey," I said. I saw you got into Duke." "That's cool," he mumbled. "Thanks," I said. "I'm going to state," he said. "Probably gonna rush a fraternity." "Good for you," I said. "You'll fit right in." He looked at me, trying to find the old Sam. The Sam who would have made a self-deprecating joke to make him feel better. The Sam who would have smoothed things over. But that Sam was gone. "Take care, Josh," I said. I got into my car. Maya was in the passenger seat, scrolling through music. "Ready?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, putting the car in drive. "I'm ready." I drove out of the parking lot, leaving the high school, the football field, and the ugly friend label in the rearview mirror, where they belonged.